Hello everybody, McFluffyStuff here, and today I would like to bring to you another standard deck tech. We've mostly been testing this on Arena. It's been flowing pretty well for us so far, and that deck is our Dimir midrange list. Without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're going to discuss some of the cards and choices, talk about the sideboard a little bit. So starting us off here, we have 3 Duress, 2 Fungal Infection, 4 Cast Down, 1 Moment of Craving, 3 Discovery Dispersal, 4 Thought Erasure, 2 Cry of the Carnium, 3 Disinformation Campaign, 4 Thief of Sanity, 2 Vraska's Contempt, 2 Hostage Taker, 1 Karn, Scion of Urza, 3 Doom Whisperer, 2 Eldritch Reborn, 7 Islands, 9 Swamps, 4 Drowned Catacomb, and 4 Watery Graves. So when constructing the main for this deck, we tried to make it have the most game against as many decks as possible. So the Duress, the Thought Erasure, and the Disinformation Campaigns game 1 are our control answers. If you can shred their hand apart, you can stick your threats on board and live. For decks like Tokens, Mono Blue Tempo, and Red or Burn decks, we have Fungal Infections, we got the Cast Down, and the Moment of Craving. For the mid-range lists, we have a little bit of everything in here. We got the Vraska's Contempt to eat their bigger threats and Planeswalkers. We got the Karn, Scion of Urza to help us grind and continually get card advantage. Eldritch Reborn is good there to be able to make them sack creatures, get them back later on. So as you can see, our main board is as solid as it probably can be for what we're trying to do. We do have some threats. The Thief of Sanity's here. When they go left unchecked, do just win games. It doesn't matter what deck you're playing against. Thief of Sanity demands an answer. Hostage Taker is mostly used for removal on things like Hydra Crisis, removing tokens, and also being able to take their biggest threat, or an unflipped treasure map, and gain control of it. Doom Whisperer is here to sort of smooth out your draws. Paying 2 life to Surveil 2 in this deck is very important because let's say you're going against an aggressive deck. Well, being able to get rid of the hand hate out of your deck to draw your kill spells or your creatures is important. Against a control deck, surveilling to get rid of your kill spells to find your hand hate is huge. There is some tweaks to the main you could make depending on how you wanted to go with it. If you want this deck to be more dedicated mid-range, I would recommend cutting 1 Eldritch Reborn, adding in another Karn, Scion of Urza. I would also cut 1 Duress out for a Discovery Dispersal. If you wanted to go more control with it, I would cut 1 Doom Whisperer and add another Duress or another Disinformation Campaign. So now that we've covered the main, let's look at the board. We have 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Duress, 1 Fungal Infection, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Negate, 1 Moment of Craving, 2 Sinister Sabotage, 1 Disinformation Campaign, 1 Ritual of Soot, 1 Vraska's Contempt, 1 Eldritch Reborn, and 1 Field of Ruin. Now you may say to yourself, that's a lot of singletons, and you'd be correct. The reason for that is our sideboard is kind of constructed in packages. So if you're going up against a deck like Mono Blue, your Fungal Infection is great, your Moment of Craving is great, your Ritual of Soot can be good, your Vraska's Contempt can be good. Now let's say you're going up against Control. Duress is good, Disdainful Stroke and Negate are fine, Sinister Sabotage is fine, Disinformation can be fine. Let's say you're going up against mid-range, your Moment of Craving can be fine, your Ritual of Soot can be okay, your Vraska's Contempt is fine, and your Eldritch Reborn is fine. So what we've tried to do is leave our sideboard as open as possible, or construct little packages so that when we're going up against certain decks, we have the most amount of game that we can as humanly possible. The Field of Ruin is good against things like the Hanaba's Climb, because when that flips, being able to shoot that is huge. The Search for Iskanta, being able to shoot that is huge. And there's a couple other sneaky little lands here and there that getting rid of is okay. Now you may ask yourself, why are you just playing Dimir? Why not just go Esper with it? One, I like to try to go 2 colors when possible because you have the absolute smoothest mana base. With a deck like this, you shouldn't have a hard time hitting your colors, and you should never get color screwed by any means. You know, it can occasionally happen, but you really should not expect on that happening. 2, I feel like a deck like this, where the power is that you have game versus all the decks. You don't have a match where you just, well, game 1 I lose to this, now I have to go to the sideboard. Yes, you can draw that way, but as long as you're drawing decent, you should have games versus control, you should have game versus red and token strategies, you should have game versus mid-range decks. By crafting the most solid, I guess, flexible deck main you can, which is why we have such a crazy board, I feel the better off your deck. That way you're not just geared to do one thing and that's it. Okay, so we've talked about it enough now. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or comments about the deck. And we are signing out. Have a good one.